Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. So today I was out in my garden and I planted some pole beans. And I did a whole video for you, but my camera and microphone decided to have a little fight and the audio didn't pick up my scraggly, cold infused voice. So I thought I would just come down here and give you a quick rundown of what I did and why I did what I did. I planted these Lena pole beans. These are really nice bean that has a fun story. I get them from Heritage Harvest Seeds. It's a Canadian company. And the story is that these beans were handed out as a food ration in, I believe, the 30s. And one family in Regina, Saskatchewan, decided to save some of the beans and plant them and continue saving the seeds and planting them every year after that. So they were a really good bean, very delicious bean, and they grow well here in Saskatchewan. So it's a nice bean to have. I'm not a real bean aficionado. I've just kind of gotten into the dried bean world in the last few years. But these are a nice bean that I do dry them. And when you cook them up, they're a real creamy, delicious white bean. I'm guessing like a butter bean. I don't know. But they're really a nice bean. And the advantage of pole beans, I mean, all beans produce quite a bit, but pole beans really produce a lot. And when you're growing them for dried beans and you want just to harvest a whole bunch all at once, that makes it really nice. So that's what I'm going to be doing with these. I'm going to be growing them on my corn. I've never actually grown beans on my corn before. I've always grown them up kind of teepee trellises with poles. But I thought I'd give it a try on the corn this year and see if I get kind of 2 crops out of this one space. You don't need a lot of plants to get a good amount of beans. So I've just planted them kind of across the front, 5 rows of corn here, and down this side just a little bit, just because I had a few beans left over. So I just planted them over here. And I've also put these stakes in at the 4 corners of my corn. And I'll be running some twine around them and crisscrossing it in the middle. And that'll just help to give the corn some extra support in my soft soil, my raised beds here. If we get high winds, especially if the soil is wet after a rain or something, it can knock the corn over pretty easily. Usually I can stand it back up, but this just, if I can keep it standing in the first place, just provides less stress for the plants. And especially if I'm going to be growing beans on them, I think that's just going to add extra weight. So I just thought that would be better if I could just string the corn up and keep it in place right now. So when I plant the beans, you just take the dried bean seed like out of the pod and you just plant it down. I plant them usually between kind of my first and second knuckle, just about that depth. I just planted them at each stalk of corn that was growing there. And to do that, I also needed to take, I have a net, and you'll see me take a netting hoop off of some peas that I had more corn growing under. And that was just to try and protect those peas from some hungry rabbits that have been in my yard and just protect at least 1 row of peas. So I also have some peas over on this side growing, and I have a renegade pumpkin and some zinnias in the front of this bed and some volunteer dill. So this bed's pretty full, and I hope to get a good crop out of all of it. So when I'm growing the beans, they don't need a lot of attention. They're not going to need a lot of extra fertilizer. They will get some just because the corn is in here, and I will fertilize the corn here in probably about a month, 3 weeks to a month here. They'll probably be, about tall enough that I'll be giving them a good feed. And other than that, I'm not going to be doing anything specifically for the beans. I'll just be making sure that they're getting up the corn if they need help kind of climbing. But I find climbing pole beans pretty aggressive in their climbing abilities, so I don't expect to have to help them out too much. And then I'll just wait until they've set their beans and the beans have dried on the plants before I come into harvest. And I can give you, I'm pretty sure I have a harvest video, so I'll give you a link to that. It only took me about 5 minutes to get this whole job done, and I think it was 5 minutes well spent. I'll get a harvest of beans and have my corn supported. Like I said, just a few minutes in the garden can pay off and have big rewards. So I hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.